Good morning, students. Today let us learn very important thing in magnetism, that is meaning of magnetization and magnetic intensity. It is a common experience which I think you have done in 8th standard or 9th standard. If you take a nail, iron nail, and take insulated copper wire, wind the insulated copper wire around the iron nail, connect the two ends of this insulated copper wire to a battery. Then if you observe the iron nail which is there inside the turns of the windings, the iron nail start behaving like a magnet. It will start attracting the pieces of iron. The moment you disconnect it, it will leave the drops. It will drop the pieces of iron, especially iron fillings. Iron fillings will be immediately attracted. So the soft iron nail which is taken inside the windings of the insulated copper wire start behaving like a magnet. It means it undergoes magnetization when the current is passed through the windings of the coil. So this is the meaning of magnetization. The moment you disconnect it, the iron nail loses its magnetic property and it will not be able to attract the pieces of iron or iron fillings. So let us learn the magnetization and magnetic intensity in detail. So we have learned in the previous studies that if we take a solenoid, let us take a solenoid, right, with free space. Solenoid with free space means vacuum or air without anything inside. And when we pass the current through the solenoid, then we have studied that it will produce a magnetic field inside it. And magnetic field in the free space, I will write it as B naught equal to mu naught N I, where N is number of turns per unit length and I is the strength of the current. More the strength of the current, more will be the magnetic field inside the coil. And we have studied this earlier. If the current is flowing like this, then the magnetic field will be found out using the right hand thumb rule, right? Magnetic field will be along the axis and this magnetic field is found to be uniform inside the solenoid. This is what we have learned. And here we learn magnetic field B naught equal to mu naught Ni. This Ni is the external factor that is due to current and the number of turns per unit length. More closer the number of turns, then number of turns per unit length will be higher and magnetic field will be larger. And mu naught is the permeability of free space, And this Ni itself, this product Ni itself is called magnetic intensity. Right? And this Ni is denoted by H, and H is nothing but Ni. It is called magnetic intensity. It means the magnetic field that is induced here in the space depends on this magnetic intensity, which is again depending on the external factors like the current and the number of turns per unit length of the solenoid. So we know that magnetic field is measured in terms of Tesla. So magnetic intensity, if you look at it, it is measured in terms of ampere. You see, current is measured in ampere and number of turns per unit length is measured in per meter. So the SI unit of magnetic intensity is ampere per meter. Okay, this is fine as far as free space is concerned. So free space magnetic field is denoted by B naught and mu naught for permeability of free space. Now let us consider the same solenoid is being now introduced with a core material, and let us say like a soft iron core material. This is called as core. Now if we pass the current for certain amount of time, as we increase the strength of the current, magnetic intensity increases. As a result, the magnetic field also increases. the magnetic field that is produced inside the material, core material, will be of higher strength now, and this is due to the magnetization that takes place in the core material. If this is the core material, like soft iron core, before being kept inside the solenoid, then it will be having its atomic moments randomly oriented. Atomic magnetic moments are due to orbital motion of the electrons. If you remember, we have studied this. The orbital motion of the electrons around the nucleus lead to magnetic moment. That magnetic moment is called orbital magnetic moment. And these are the, I have taken very few orbital magnetic moment of the electrons revolving around the nucleus. We can say that these are the atomic moments. These are randomly oriented. So before being kept in the external magnetic field, the net magnetic moment is equal to 0 in absence of external field. Now what happens when the same material is taken inside the solenoid and pass the current? Then very interesting thing take place. All these atomic moments, they reorient themselves, they shuffle themselves and orient themselves in one direction. The arrowheads will be acting like north poles and the tails will be acting like south pole. So this end acts as north pole, the other end acts as south pole. That's how the magnetization of the material takes place when it is kept in the magnetic field. This is in presence of external magnetic field. So it means there is net magnetic moment. Net magnetic moment is not 0. It is not 0. Here it is 0, here it is some positive value, right? Now we define what is magnetization. Magnetization is defined as, magnetization, I am writing it as artistic M, is defined as net magnetic moment acquired per unit volume. Net magnetic moment acquired per unit volume. Per unit volume. So this is denoted as artistic M, and thus I can write artistic M. You see, this is a vector quantity that is equal to net magnetic moment, M net. Net magnetic moment, we know earlier we were using M vector. Now I am writing total magnetic moment as net magnetic moment per unit volume. Per unit volume. So M per unit volume, if you write the SI unit of this, magnetic moment is measured in ampere meter and volume is measured in, magnetic moment is measured in ampere meter square and volume is measured in meter cube. Therefore, this is measured in ampere per meter. So, magnetization is measured in ampere per meter. So, look at this, magnetic intensity external factor is also measured in ampere per meter. The magnetization is an internal factor which takes place inside the core material, which is also measured in ampere per meter. So, these are having the same SI units, right? Now, once we learn the magnetization, now we are going to learn what is the total magnetic field inside the core, right? And magnetic field due to the current that is flowing through the number of turns of the solenoid. So net magnetic field, if we write, then it is equal to B naught, where B naught is the magnetic field due to free space, plus Bm. Bm is the magnetic field due to magnetization inside the core. Here this is a total magnetic field. So I will write here total magnetic field B vector is equal to B naught plus Bm, where B naught is magnetic field due to free space when there is nothing inside, and Bm is the magnetic field due to magnetization, where Bm is magnetic field due to magnetization. Magnetic field inside the core due to magnetization. Due to magnetization, right? Now we are understanding what is B naught. I can write B naught as mu naught H. Look here, I have taken this Ni as magnetic intensity due to number of turns per unit length, and the current, the product of number of turns per unit length and the current is taken as magnetic intensity, which is external factor. So B naught is therefore can be written as mu naught H, right? And in the same way, how Bm can be written, let us see. That can be also written as mu naught M. Now you see, I have written total magnetic field. Once again I have written vector B equal to B naught vector plus Bm vector, where B naught vector is equal to mu naught H, the magnetic field in the free space, which is directly proportional to the magnetic intensity H. Now what is Bm? The Bm is the magnetic field inside the core. This Bm is magnetic field due to magnetization inside the core, is found to be directly proportional to the magnetization. It is found to be directly proportional to magnetization. Magnetization of the core. So if we write in the same way, then Bm is proportional to magnetization, that is artistic M. So if we take out this, we can write now as Bm is equal to mu naught into M. Bm is equal to mu naught into M, where mu naught is again permeability of free space. So the magnetic field in the core that is developed is again depending on the magnetization. The magnetization is nothing but magnetic moment acquired in the material per unit volume, right? Now interesting thing is that again this magnetization is found to be depending on magnetic intensity. Again experimentally it is observed that the magnetization M is directly proportional to magnetic intensity. M is magnetization and what is H? Magnetic intensity. Interesting. The magnetization takes place inside the core, soft iron core material, whereas the magnetic intensity is the external factor. The magnetic intensity is Ni, as we know. It depends on the strength of the current and how closely the windings, the turns, how closely the turns are wound. So it depends on number of turns per unit length. So H, magnetic intensity, is entirely an external factor. So M is found to be directly proportional to H. So if we take out this proportionality sign, we get another constant that is called as M is equal to M is found to be equal to chi, where chi is the constant, chi into H, where magnetization and magnetic intensity are in the same direction, then chi will be positive quantity. This chi is called as magnetic susceptibility. See, all the terms we are learning today are, most of them are new. Magnetization, magnetic intensity, now it is susceptibility, where the constant of proportionality taken here is called magnetic susceptibility. Magnetic susceptibility. Magnetic susceptibility, it is read as chi, C-H-I, chi. So it is looking like the scissor, right? Artistic X, right? Therefore, now we can define what is susceptibility. Susceptibility is defined as the ratio of magnetization to the magnetic intensity. So we can just write the magnitudes, ratio of magnetization to the magnetic intensity is called as susceptibility. So susceptibility is defined as the ratio of, or you can just write magnetization per unit magnetic intensity. Magnetization. So it is a property of the core, property of the material that we are taking. Susceptibility is the property of the material that we are taking. How much extent it can get magnetized, that is dependent on its susceptibility. Magnetization per unit magnetic intensity. And you can see both are having same constants, I mean same units, ampere per meter. This is also measured in ampere per meter. Therefore, susceptibility is a dimensionless quantity. It is a dimensionless, doesn't have any units, dimensionless quantity. How much it is susceptible to? The external magnetic intensity. So that is how much it is, the material can get magnetized, that will be determined by this susceptibility. Now if you substitute this M equal to chi H in this equation, we get Bm is equal to mu naught chi H. Thus we get Bm is equal to mu naught chi H. B naught is mu naught H, already we know, and now Bm is equal to mu naught, you see, mu naught into M. Mu naught into M is mu naught into chi H. Mu naught into chi H. So now these two things can be substituted in the first equation, that is B equal to B naught plus Bm, that is total magnetic field. Now let us substitute the values of B naught and Bm. Then we get total magnetic field B equal to B naught, that is mu naught H, plus Bm, mu naught chi H. So mu naught can be taken out common, and H can also be taken out common. So thus we get mu naught into bracket 1 plus chi H, mu naught into 1 plus chi into H. So mu naught is permeability of free space, chi is the magnetic susceptibility of the core material, plus 1. This 1 plus chi is taken another constant, it is called as relative permeability of the medium. It is just like a dielectric constant of the materials, dielectric constant of the materials that we have studied in electrostatics. There we studied the relative permittivity of relative permittivity of the substance. We have written it as epsilon r into epsilon naught. We have taken it as epsilon, where epsilon is the permittivity of the medium, permittivity of the dielectric medium. So there we defined relative permittivity as ratio of permittivity of the dielectric medium to the permittivity of free space. In the same way, we are getting mu r here. So mu naught into mu r into h, where mu r is called as relative permeability, of the core material, or relative permeability of the magnetic material. Therefore, finally we write this product as we have written the product as epsilon permittivity of the dielectric medium. Here we are writing permeability of the magnetic material. Therefore, this we write it as just mu into h. So this is called as, where mu is equal to mu naught mu r is permeability of the material, magnetic material or the core material that we have taken here. So from this we can define what is mu r. Mu r is equal to mu by mu naught. Mu by mu naught, as we have defined here. In the same way, you can just remember relative permeability is defined as permeability of the medium to the permeability of free space. Ratio of permeability of the medium to the permeability of free space. So this is relative permeability. So we got interesting equation, relative permeability equal to 1 plus chi. So relative permeability is equal to 1 plus chi. Chi is dimensionless quantity. So relative permeability is also dimensionless. This is also dimensionless quantity. Okay. So thus finally we get B equal to mu H. Now we can define what is permeability. Permeability can be defined as the net magnetic field, magnitude of net magnetic field to the magnetic intensity. So this can be defined as ratio of quantity of magnetic field to the magnetic intensity. Ratio of net magnetic field to the magnetic intensity. Right? Now let us learn something about the susceptibility. How susceptibility of the materials leads to the magnetic properties of the materials, magnetism of the materials. So we can classify the existing elements, all the elements, as magnetic materials, right? So they are classified as diamagnetic materials, paramagnetic materials and ferromagnetic materials. Those materials which are strongly attracted by the magnet are called as ferromagnetic materials. Those ferromagnetic materials are having very high value of relative permeability, very high value of susceptibility. Okay, let us learn based on the susceptibility and based on the relative permeability. can just see here, we have got magnetization equal to chi into H. Magnetization is product of susceptibility and the magnetic intensity. Magnetization is directly proportional to magnetic intensity. Therefore, the constant of proportionality we got as susceptibility. Chi is called as susceptibility of the core of the material. So, chi can be defined as magnetization per unit magnetic intensity, m by h. Already we have done. So, it is a dimensionless quantity as we have done. If chi is positive, if chi is greater than 0 and a very small fraction, then such materials are classified as paramagnetic materials. So, paramagnetic materials are having very small fraction positive value of susceptibility, means they are very weakly attracted by the external magnetic field, very weak attraction, very weak magnetic attraction. So, examples are aluminum, platinum, tungsten, calcium, magnesium, chromium, oxygen. This fraction will be of the order of 10 to the power of minus 5 to the 10 to the power of minus 6, 10 to the power of minus 5, we can just imagine 0.00001. So, such a small value of fraction, but it is positive. Such materials are called as paramagnetic materials. Even oxygen is also paramagnetic gas, but they are not strongly attracted towards the magnetic field. In the ordinary circumstances, under ordinary magnetic fields, we never observe the paramagnetic property. Paramagnetic property is very, very weak property of attraction. Now, if susceptibility is negative, and again it is a very small fraction of the order of 10 to the power of minus 5 to the 10 to the power of minus 4, then such materials are repelled by the magnetism. They are repelled by the external magnetic field. They are not attracted, but they are repelled. And this repulsion is also very weak. Under ordinary circumstances, we do not observe this diamagnetic property also, right? Examples for diamagnetic properties are copper, gold, silver, bismuth, diamond, nitrogen. Nitrogen gas is a diamagnetic material. So, remember, diamagnetic materials are having susceptibility negative value, but it is a very small fraction of the order of 10 to the power of minus 5 to 10 to the power of minus 4. Now, if chi is very high, positive value, chi is positive value and it will be more than 100 to 1000, maybe more than 1000 also. Such materials are having very high susceptibility to the magnetism and they are classified as ferromagnetic substances. The ferromagnetic substances, we are already aware of it. Iron, cobalt, nickel, alnico, ticonal. Alnico and ticonal, you know, they are the alloys. Iron-like materials which are strongly attracted by the external magnetic field, they are called as ferromagnetic substances. The reason for this ferromagnetism is the strong magnetization, as we have studied here. The strong magnetization is because of their high value of susceptibility. They are highly susceptible. The magnetic susceptibility of ferromagnetic substances are very high, of the order of 100 to 1000, more than 1000, and such materials are called as ferromagnetic materials. Okay, they find a lot of applications in our daily life. Okay, in the next session we will solve some numerical problems. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.